Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another daily vlog. Today's vlog is about introvert versus extrovert, and not necessarily introvert versus extrovert in terms of other people, but rather I'm wondering myself, am I an introvert or am I an extrovert? You see, on one hand, I like being around people, and I would argue that I'm good with other people, but on the other hand, I don't like to be around people. And maybe I should start at the beginning. When I grew up in the 80s, and I grew up in the suburbs, and I was basically in my peer group and in my grade in my school, I was the only Asian kid. More importantly, I was basically the shortest boy there, and basically all my life I was the shortest person. So when I was a kid, I was picked on a lot, bullied a little bit by kids I didn't know, but also not bullied by kids I knew or who were my friends, but it was very common to make fun of Asian people. Or no, it was basic. I just wanted to say fun about me, but it is still a fact that Asian humor, racist Asian humor, is basically like societal, accepted in society, and back then even more so. So I was always made fun of a little bit, and I most of the time wasn't really hurt. So whenever I had something to say, people were talking over me or were just not taking stuff I was saying, taking that any serious. Also, when I started working in the film industry, I started being an intern. And I actually had a friend of mine saying, "Hey, are you ever going to do something serious?" Or yeah, people weren't really taking what I was saying or what I was doing seriously, which was really hard to me as a kid and growing up, especially if it comes from friends. And that kind of made me, sometimes not wanting to be around people or in groups, but also it somehow strengthened me because I just kept doing what I was doing, and but also it made me kind of close off, which sometimes did cause some issues with my wife and me, because I don't really like to talk about what is bothering me. I rather make that try to figure it out for myself, because I don't want to be judged, because I was judged so many times and when I was a kid, and people weren't taking me seriously. For example, let's do an emotional example. Someone makes fun of you, and then you say, "Oh, that hurts me," or "That hurts my feelings," and they say, "Oh, it was just a joke. Don't take it too seriously. Why aren't you so crybaby? We're just joking about your eyes. It's not your fault that your eyes are so small." Stuff like that, you know? So those typical Asian racist jokes that are being hidden and be excused by, those are jokes. Oh, you cannot speak really German, so should we listen to you, right? So those kind of things made me kind of shut off a little bit and kind of wanting to share whatever I have to say. Also, when I was in group situations and parties, when I was in a group, I wasn't really been hurt. So I was having a really hard time to say anything. So because people were talking over me or didn't want to let me finish whatever I was saying. So that made me kind of shut off a little bit and not liking being in groups, not liking expressing whatever I'm thinking or I'm feeling. And I think that is the part where I kind of think, oh, am I an introvert? I'm not really sure. I don't like being around people because people don't listen to me or whatever, or don't want to listen to whatever I have to say. Which then again kind of caused this mechanism in me, or this skill, which is something that makes me a really good freelancer, I believe. I know how to keep a conversation going, because I realized real quick, okay, if people don't want to listen to whatever I have to say, I'm really good at asking questions. And I'm really good at keeping a conversation going. So whenever you put me into a group, or in front of a person that I don't know, I'm really good at keeping the conversation going. And not only because I want to keep the conversation going, but also because I have the philosophy, I don't want to be treated like I've been treated. I treat everyone with respect. I have the philosophy that every person around me can teach me at least one thing that I don't know about. It can be an old person, it can be a child, it can be a baby, or whatever it might be. People always have something to teach you, at least one thing that you don't know. So I approach everyone with a specific terms of respect, but more importantly also specific interest. And that made me a very a person that people like to be around when I'm in a job situation. I'm able to create a space where people feel comfortable, feel accepted in a way, and that's where I think, oh, am I an extrovert? Because I can be around people. I like to be in those situations. But that's also something my wife and I kind of argued about sometimes, because I don't let people close, because I'm asking all of the questions, right? I'm making those people feel very welcome, very safe, and they talk to me about their stuff, but I don't talk about anything that is about me. And that sometimes got into a couple of issues with my wife and I, because I'm so closed off sometimes. So I sometimes don't know, am I an extrovert because I'm really good with other people? I can be around people, but sometimes, especially in parties and stuff like that, I don't like to be around people, because as the bigger a group gets, the more difficult it is for me to kind of talk to other people, because they talk over me. Then I go into the habit of, okay, keeping conversation going, but then it's basically only about the other people. And that sometimes, especially in a party situation, that kind of exhausts me, because I only listen to other people and I try to keep the conversation going. I'm interested in all of the other people, but rarely people are interested in me. So that kind of fuels again this introverted part of me, where I don't want to be around you. I don't want to be around so many people, not you particular, but around so many people, where I maybe have this appearance of being extroverted in terms of, okay, being able to talk to a lot of people. But if you analyze it, I'm not talking to them, I'm listening to them basically. And that comes back to me being a little bit introverted, where I don't want to be around too many people, because no one is interested in me in those situations, or is not giving me the chance to kind of talk. But it's basically like a circle. Maybe sometimes I'm also in a position where I don't talk, so people don't ask me, so I ask them, and then it's kind of like this circle, right? So that is why I sometimes not really sure if I'm more leaning towards, I'm probably in the middle, but sometimes I wonder if I'm more on the extroverted side or more on the introverted side. I'm not really sure about that. But that's basically how I grew up into this kind of mechanism of not wanting to talk about me, because kids back then were not taking me seriously, talking over me, bullying me. But then out of that negative situation, I created a skill that is really good for me in my workspace as a freelancer and in the communication with clients. You see, when you're a freelancer, and that is a huge misconception, people think it's all about your skill, it's all about your portfolio, but it's actually only part of the equation. People need to like you. You need to be a team player. You need to be a good person to be around, especially as a film editor. You sometimes sit in a room 2 weeks in a row with one person. And if you don't like that person, you're not going to hire that person again. If that person is not trustworthy, if that person is not reliable, it doesn't matter if the skills are amazing. You don't want to sit with that person in one room all of the time. So having good people skills is really important as a freelancer. So to summarize this, yes, I personally feel like in my childhood there was a lot of bad things and a lot of traumatizing things in a way when you get bullied. But you always can. Sorry, I had to cut that part of the vlog because my wife was coming home, and probably this has nothing to do with introvert, but more with me being awkward in front of the camera when people are around, especially when my wife is around or other people. I just feel weird. And this probably has to do something with being awkward and shy and nothing with the topic of this video. Anyways, if you want to see... Oh no, did I end up with summarizing? Yeah, let's quickly summarize this video. I mean, I wanted to say that some negative things in my childhood have turned, or I kind of switched them to making them something positive for my work life. And that is basically something that you maybe can take away from this, kind of looking at something that has happened to you in the past that was somewhat negative, but that you can spin into something positive. Maybe let me know in the comment section below. Is there anything that you consider negative in your past, but you've been able to kind of twist and make it to something positive in your life? Let me know in the comments below. And maybe check out yesterday's or 2 days ago vlog about not burning out by the video up here. YouTube thinks that you like the video down here, and help me to get to 1000 subscribers maybe this year by subscribing and clicking the button up here. I see you tomorrow.